Okay. Shot a cock out, folks. What's happening? John Lee Line, Homo Depot. All right, so look. All right, today I want to talk to beginners again. Who are those? People who are like me, that's always learning and want to learn more. That would be me. Thank you very much. All right, today I want to talk about, this is almost a touchy subject, and it's not even touchy, because I ain't touching it. Well, anyway, so we're talking about a subject that some people kind of get it misconstrued. But why are you wearing a mask, man? It's just us in here. You family. Hootie. We get thumping and slapping completely different. We misconstrue that whole concept. I personally say thumping and popping. Some people say slapping and pulling. Okay. Whatever you want to say is good for you. Run with it. Today, I'm going to give you some techniques from my perspective. I'm using a lot of good words today. Perspective. Perspective. I'm gonna give you, from my perspective, some thumping and popping or plucking kind of techniques to do. So, I'm gonna use my P bass today. I've been wanting this bass for years and years and years and years. This color is called Antiqua. All right, so coming through my little SWR. What are you? Oh, yeah, it's a lab. Is it a lab? No, it's a LA 12. And people are like, isn't that the same thing? No. Okay. All right, so today I'm going to show you my technique, because there's a lot of people out here that's doing different kinds of technique. There's that kind of technique where Abraham Labrielle used that. Stanley used this. He used that. Victor used that. He used that. Or and Marcus used. And see, Marcus are so cool, man. And Larry. Marcus used that close technique. You know, his hands really never move. You know, I use that technique because it's more accurate for me, you know, than Louis Johnson when he comes way back here. And I can't do that. I ain't gonna even try. I used to be like, you done jacked the whole joint up. All right, so I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, this is my technique of thumping. Now, it's basically about the wrist. It's not about how hard you hit the bass. Basically, if I give you my bass and I see you doing this, you're going to do that about one time, and then I'm going to pick my bass up and you're not going to play it again. These instruments are very delicate, so they're active, and whether they're active or passive, they're coming through a little small amplification. Amplification. That's what they're coming through. So you ain't got to beat them to death to make them do things. I mean, there are aggressive playing, like, you know, metal and grunge. There's a lot of stuff like it, but you know, when it gets to the thumping thing, it's really, for me, it's about how fast and smooth you do it. Like, I can do a lot of things. I can do a lot of stuff. Get it. And, you know, fast and real smooth. I mean, it's a lot of things I can get done. But if you notice, I'm really not leaving the board. You know, my wrist is very comfortable, very loose, very comfortable. I'm comfortable, because when you get into that really heavy, that heavy thumping stuff, you kind of choke up a little bit. It's like when it's your time to do a solo, you tense up. I don't know why we do that, and I guess it's because now you're in the spotlight. Everybody's looking at you, that kind of thing. But for me, what I try to do is stay calm through the whole gig. Relax, be with the gig. Don't try to force yourself to be happy. I think I said something there, Hootie. Don't try to force yourself to be happy. Just be happy. How about that? So I want to talk about a little bit of everything today, but mostly I want to talk about the thumping thing. Now, the wrist is my, that's my technique. The looser the wrist is, the better you can get to, your thumping thing. I normally thump from here. All right, can you see that? I normally thump from here. I don't have calluses. I don't understand that part. I don't understand if you got a bass and you got a great. Here's the catch. You got a bass and you got a great setup. Why is it that you have calluses? I don't understand that. Some people may have soft skin, and one bruise on it may cause it to water up. I don't know. But I've been doing this for, I can't tell you how many long years. Yeah, I can. A lot of years. And I never got a callus, because to me, it's all about technique. It's not about, until you get a callus on your thumb, you're not gonna be able to play good. Or until you get a callus on your finger, it's not gonna be able to play good. That's not true. Come on, guys, stop. In fact, you don't want to damage your hands. When you saw damage in your hands, I mean, sooner or later they're gonna get affected, and it ain't gonna be good, And no woman wants you rubbing on their arms or their hands, and your jump feel like sandpaper. So, bass players, guitar players, take care of your hands. You only get one pair. All right. So my thing is, when I start to thump, if you notice, I'm really not hitting it hard, because my strings are very articulate. My strings are very clean. My strings are very low. That's the key. My strings are very low. They feel very good. They bend. They're not like, cable wire. My bass is set up so well that I don't have to work. And my whole concept in thumping is not to work. My whole concept in playing is not to work. I just want to enjoy it. I didn't buy this to work my butt off. I bought it because I wanted to make money, but I also want to be comfortable when I'm playing it. I needed to be a part of me. All right, so let's get back to the thumping again. So I use this part to thump. I'm not hitting it. I'm just actually brushing it. I'm not really going deep into it. Now, some people who having problems with their wrist, a lot of people do this. Look at my wrist. You're beating your bass to death. You don't need to do that. You just need to twist your wrist. Okay? And an exercise that I do is I always do this. Now, when it gets to the point that I can hear this, that means I'm doing it too hard and too loud. Too hard, actually. So I normally do this. I barely want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to do that. I want to hear it. And you know, and if you try this exercise, this is just my exercise. I do this. See my wrist? Basically my whole arm. And the faster I do it, and I will start out slow, guys, like this. And then, you know, every other day, pick it up a little faster. Always have a metronome. That'll help you a lot. If you want to get into this thing, I do this. Right in the palm of my hand. And every day you pick it up and pick it up, 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 until you get fast as you want. And you got to remember, guys, it's not how many notes you hit, it's how the note sets in the groove. Boy, you better say that again. It's not how many notes you hit, it's how the note sets in the groove, baby. That's what the deal is playing bass is. Not how many you can play. It's how that note sets in that groove. That's the groove right there, man. All right, so, cause I'm learning something today, Hootie. All right, so now the pluck thing, I normally use this finger. Sometimes I use both fingers. Sometimes I use all 4 fingers. People haven't got to that point, you know, to using the 4 fingers anymore. Right now, they use, well, Victor uses a lot, you know, 4 fingers and 2 fingers and 1 finger, and I use it as a rake. And if you do it fast enough, it feels like a pluck. You know. You know. And I call it a rake. But normally 1 finger is what I use. So I usually have my finger looking like this. Okay. And I'm going to do that real slow. So I'm not really pulling the finger, pulling the finger. I'm not really pulling the string. I'm just going under it and pulling off from it like this. See that? So if I can get my finger under it, all I want to do is get under and come off it. I don't want to sit there and pull it. You know, some people pull. It's like, dude, by the time you get through pulling it, you're going to miss your groove because you're going to be out of the pocket. So I mostly go underneath of it and just rub away from it. Once again, if you got a good setup on your bass and your bass has very good strings on it, you know, it won't be a job for you. It will just be really something comfortable. That's what you want. I can't overemphasize the setup on our bass. If your setup is really nice, then you won't have many problems with your bass. I mean, you can do a lot of things with your bass, you know. You know. So, what are some of the things that you should start out with? Me personally, when I first started the plucking and thumping thing, there was a guy in a band that with back in the day. His name was David. I'm not gonna give you last name, but Hunter. David Hunter was my inspiration when it comes to thumping and popping. He had that mark that well, back in the day was Louis Johnson. He had that stuff down packed, man. And he was playing like a I forgot what kind of jazz it was. One of the old jazzes, but it wasn't a real jazz. It was a knockoff. But he had that technique amazingly down. And so I kept watching him. But when I started out playing, you know, thump, as they call it, thump and pop. I basically started on the E string open. A lot of people like, get away from the E, get away from the E, get away from the E. No, man, stay there. Stay there if you're trying to learn something. That's not where you need to be there for the rest of your life. All right, so I started with my third string and my first string, all right, on the E. Open E. That's what you got to do. And a lot of people looking and going like, why you got the thumb rest there? Well, the old P's had the thumb rest, all right, because they did most of the fingering. Jameson was a fingerer. I said a fingerer. Jameson fingered a lot of stuff. So that's why the thumb rested there, y'all. But to start off with the thumping thing, you know, and what I would do is have a metronome working, and I'll go do cat, do cat, do cat, and follow the metronome. Cat, cat. And I know you're saying, man, that is so first grade. Yeah, but you ain't got there yet. You ain't ready to go to second grade yet. So stay at the first grade. First grade. Because in the first grade, you can start inventing stuff. Check this out. Well, I'm not going to make this video that long, man. I just want to give you guys an opening on the thumping and plucking thing and some information about your hands. Guys, there's one more thing I'm going to say about bass players, guitar players, piano players, drummer players, whatever players, sax players, whatever players. Listen, when you do I do a lot of television spots. And you already know that camera goes, for a bass player, the camera goes on one place. It don't really shoot you in the face. Look, I said shoot you in the face. Why you still got that mask on, man? Shoot you in the face. Normally, they shoot you right here. Because your hands are doing what? Exactly. Guitar players, same way. Piano players, same way. Guys, it ain't girly to have nice hands. It ain't girly. It ain't about that. It's about the respect of your bass, the respect of a bass player. All right. Nobody say you have to put, have you complete manicured all the time, but try not to have dirty fingernails, and try to have your fingernails kind of cut nicely. Definitely have clean hands, guys. You've got to have clean hands if you're going on camera. That is the most gross thing I ever seen, to have a musician that's amazing and his fingernails are so dirty that I can't even watch what he's doing because it's just gross. All right, so as a musician, I'm just putting it out there, try to have clean fingernails and clean hands, especially when you're going on television. You want to present yourself as an amazing player, but there are people that's not players that's actually watching you all the time. So they're watching things about you that you wouldn't even think about. All right? You ever notice that? No, you haven't. All right. So, guys, cleanliness is next to godliness. So remember that. So, okay, so here we go. Once again, I'm using my Antiqua P bass. I really would love to have a jazz bass like this, but I'm using my Antiqua P bass, and I just want to bring those little, things out to you so you can actually have fun in the future, thumping and popping, and a little other things on the inside. So thanks, guys, for checking out my video. Shot a caca from me and Hootie. Peace.